Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, pushing the true doctrine across the four winds of the earth in all truth and in sincerity. I'm Lamar Ariyah from the Mississippi Camp. Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. And this is a video I ran across, and it's a little short video, but I found it interesting because I never knew this, that front yards as well as backyards were usually used as gardens to grow fruits, vegetables, herbs, things of that nature, and there wasn't no yard for mowing and just a bunch of upkeep just for presentation. It was for use. The work you put in was to grow things for your livelihood, things you can consume, the fruits, the vegetables, the herbs for medicine, the nuts and things of that nature that actually benefited you from the work you would put in to keep everything groomed up, cleaned up, watered, so they can grow, versus just getting out there sweating and working just for an appearance to be shown. You actually benefited from the work you're doing in your front yard than just the benefit, and I use benefit loosely, of compliments of people talking about how your garden looks. I mean, not garden, your yard looks so nice, So anyway, I'm gonna play this video and I'm gonna read a couple of things out ChatGPT and an article and get a scripture, and like I say, Lord willing, is edifying. Okay, like I said, it was just something interesting to me, and it's just for edification. I'm not sure, some brothers may know about it, some may not know, whatever the case may be. But like I say, it was something I didn't know, so I wanted to share it through the Spirit. Okay.
You were never supposed to have a lawn in front of your house. You know that? Well, here's what it made you. Think about it. Before lawns, most front yards grew food, fruit trees, vegetables, herbs. But in the late 1800s, elites in Europe, wealthy elites in Europe, I'll say, made grass lawns a status symbol. It meant you had so much money, you didn't need your land to feed you. Now that's a flex, okay? So America copies this trend. Cities encouraged it. Developers, they built it into our neighborhood designs. And eventually, HOAs, local lawns started banning front yards altogether. So now lawns look clean, but they replaced something essential, right? Our daily connection to food. They made us more dependent on grocery stores, supply chains, and the very systems that profit from our hunger. Now, a nice patch of grass, it looks nice, right? It looks nice. Right. But a patch of food keeps you alive. One builds status, the other builds freedom. And if lawns had never been pushed on us, our neighborhoods would be filled with edible gardens, fruit, nuts, seeds, native wildflowers, small community orchards. Every block would feed its people. What hunger? Every yard would be a little ecosystem, nourishing, abundant, and free.
All right. So of course I asked ChatGPT, how did having a yard and not growing fruits and vegetables and edibles impact the Black community as well as the indigenous people by not being able to grow their food, right? So, and I'm just going to kind of skip around, so I can try to make this video at a suitable time, if the Spirit allows, because I'm pressing for time. Disconnection from land and culture practices. Indigenous peoples, for many tribes, growing food wasn't just a sustenance. It was part of culture, knowledge, ceremonies, and ecological stewardship. Colonization, forced removals, and later restrictions, like on reservations, cut off access to traditional farming, seed keeping, and foraging practices. This created a rupture in passing down food sovereignty and knowledge. Black communities, enslaved Africans, and we're not Africans, okay, we're Israelites, brought agriculture expertise with them, and farming was central to survival during slavery and after emancipation. However, system systemic systemic violence, discriminatory land policies, and urbanization often forced Black communities away from food production. Over time, a cultural association of farming with oppression, slavery, and sharecropping discouraged many from embracing it despite its empowering potential. So, and that always takes us back to Job 9:24, how the earth was given to the hand of the wicked. So this devil, he took the land from Gad, okay, and put them on reservations, meaning he isolated them so they could, because Gad was heavy on growing their own foods, man. They was all about nature, man. They was one with the earth, heavy, making medicines, growing food, using, the buffalo, not only just for food and meat, they use the skin, the hide, the fur, everything that they had on the land, they used it, whether it was to build shelter, clothing, whatever, they used it, man. Okay, because it was available on the land. But this devil took all that and isolated, okay, the brothers of the Gadites, man, to a area confounded. And they started getting on that fire water, just started getting thrown, man, because it was like caged animals, right? As well as the Southern Kingdom, okay? They took the expertise of farming, building, cultivating, all these different things, but had in captivity. And then once so-called slavery was abolished, they started doing sharecropping, and pretty much was a finesse, because Jake would use this devil's equipment, his land, and even if Jake had his own land, okay, or a portion of the property of the plantation, he still would find himself with nothing at the end of the day, because the devil was going to charge him for his equipment. He was going to take a portion of his product, his produce, or however you want to put it. But this, even when it said they started pretty much bringing forth this land or this spacious yards in the 19th, 20th century, making it a thing, where just having a yard full of life, meaning what? Orchards or gardens, fruits and vegetables, things of that nature, herbs, medicine, everything that the Lord blessed us with from the earth. This devil has once again found a way to abolish life to a certain degree and benefit off of it. Okay. Now he got lawn services, and that's big business nowadays. But this man, he's anti-life. And again, and also like the Jake made the statement, he has monetized, the situation of not having a front yard or backyard full of vegetables and fruits and things of that nature, because now he had turned it into a production. Now Esau got the vineyards. Now Esau got the orchards. Now Esau has the the lands to grow in mass production these particular fruits and vegetables. And they're not even real no more. Some of them are grown in labs. But, this is the devil, man. Okay? So now it says dependency and economic disempowerment. Not being able to grow your own food creates dependence on outside systems, government rations on reservations, exploitative company stores and stores for sharecroppers, modern supermarkets, and food deserts. So Salakia, my I'm getting all tongue twisted, Salakia, but basically again showing that they strip these opportunities to have fruits and vegetables, at your disposal, so they can have mass production of these things, and you have to depend on the government and these Fortune 500 companies or whatever to get what you need when it comes to the fruits and vegetables or any kind of essentials when it comes to food. Okay, so I'm gonna skip down to here. Okay, lack of health impacts, lack of access to homegrown fresh food contributes to diet-related illnesses, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, that disproportionately affect blacks and indigenous communities today. And that's because the food has been stripped of nutrients, okay? No nutrition, full of sugar, full of sodium, high in carbs, cholesterol levels be going up. It's poison now. But when, because it goes through this production, it has all these additives to them, and then it's GMO. But this is a part of the devil's plan, man, is to flood the world, especially here in Babylon, with poison, because it all goes into their depopulation agenda, because they could have cures for a lot of stuff. These fruits and vegetables and herbs and are good for the body, and it could be healing to the body. Let me get that scripture. Okay, so all right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 38, starting at verse 4. The Lord Yahweh created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue therefore might be known, and hath given man skill that he might be honored in his marvelous works. So the Lord has given the medicine out of the earth. The water's supposed to be sweet, man. This water's supposed to be just have a natural, sweet, satisfying taste to it. Now you taste chlorine in it. The water be having lead in it. Okay. Now the medicine, you got to get it from the pharmacy. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't have access to a lot of these different herbs to make medicines, man. And the skill set is now not beneficial just for a man to work off his land, and do what he has to do to support and take care of his family. Now he has to take his skill, his trades or whatever, to work for the devil and make him rich. And the people just on the hamster wheel, man. Trapped in a cycle of doing the same shit, but yet and still they constantly, got a bag with holes in it. Okay. All right. Food, desserts, place where it is difficult to find affordable, healthy food are often concentrated in historically black and indigenous neighborhoods, compounding health inequalities. Right. So, because they put all the bullshit in Jake's neighborhoods, man, all the poison, floods the neighborhood of Jake's, man. You know? And it's by design. You don't find no Whole Foods across the track, which even Whole Foods is tainted, man. You get the best of the worst, but it's still bullshit. You know? They stick McDonald's and Burger King and all these damn bullshit Chinese restaurants, you know, all in the hoods, man. All where Jake dwell, Northern and Southern Kingdom. You know? You don't never see no commercials advertising healthy living and healthy foods, man. It's all just tainted and things that destroy your body, break your system down, give you high blood pressure, diabetes, goddamn asthma. You know, and the list goes on, man. All right. Loss of food sovereignty. Food sovereignty is the right to control your own food system, including what is grown, how it's grown, and who benefits. Losing the ability to grow food meant losing a layer of independence, self-determination, and resilience. That's self-explanatory, man. It's like taking your livelihood. Because, you know, when you actually control your food, when you work and like, because I grew up in the country. My folks had a garden, you know, and we used to go out there and work in it, picking peas, selling peas, you know, hoeing the garden, pulling up grass around it, you know what I'm saying? Tilling the garden, you know, let the garden be in one place for this amount of years and then, you know, move it. You know, even my old man, even Mike, he respected the land Sabbath to a certain degree. Because he would not let the garden continue on in one place for forever, man. He would move it in two different locations, man. He would rotate them, you know? And then he'll open the fence up once he move it and let the cows go in there and just graze and, you know, manure and fertilize the earth again, man. The ground over there, the soil be just dark and ready for the next time that area is to plant. But it gave you a sense of independency. It gave you, a sense of sovereignty, man, because you control what you grew. You put out there what you wanted, and you distributed how you wanted it to. But now that is damn near gone, man. People don't have gardens like that no more. Everybody, when I was coming up in the 80s, okay, in the early 90s, had gardens, man. That shit is really done away with. The generation of that mindset is pretty much gone. Now you still have some people that do it, but not on the scale it was back then or then before then. You know, that really started dying out with my generation. You know, okay, both Black and indigenous movement today, like community gardens, urban farms, and seeding saving projects, are directly working to reclaim that sovereignty. And that shit is over, man. Because I remember my little brother can attest to it, man. My old man said the seeds that they have now are not real seeds. You know, and this was years ago, man. And man, our father had done passed on, but he knew from when he was a kid coming up into an adult age, the seeds have been tainted. You know? But this is what the devil does, man. That's what he does. He turns everything upside down. He's a cancerous person. Everything he crosses, man, he destroys. Okay? Physiological and social effect. Being disconnected from ancestral practices of growing and sharing food also eroded community bonds. So, oh man, and that's heavy because I know our neighbors, man, when we was coming up, we would borrow things like, you know, sugar, salt, flour, meal, you know, eggs, you know, just different things, man. And it was like a barter system sometimes, man. You know, if you need this and I got it and you got that and I need it, we'll just swap it out. But now that is being just deteriorating, man. You can barely trust your neighbors now. And then if you want to ask your neighbor for something, you get it. They're going to talk about you so bad and spread it out through the whole neighborhood. Then that's going to cause some kind of conflict. It's a cold world now, man. And at the same time, you have to be cautious of who you deal with, because people are selfish, they're wicked, and they are always scheming, man. Because they are like their father, the devil, man. You Israelites, man, you 2/3 niggas are horrible people. So you have to be mindful. And you just can't do for everybody. But it used to be a community of love, man. We used to have a love for each other, and we used to want to help each other, man. And like I say, you would swap things out, trade things out, borrow things, and it was all love. But that's out the window now, man. Okay. And I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna read this last little bit. I'm gonna close it out because I'm kind of going on and on and on. But, it's just showing, man, that how far we have strayed away from our ancestral heritages, man. Things we used to do, those traits we used to have, man. By being in this wicked society, this wicked system, we have been detached from how we used to get down, man, how we used to live. But at the end of the day, it's hey, this is just the will of the Lord, man. And we will be going back to that on a scale that's unimaginable, man, in the kingdom of heaven. Physiological and social effects. Okay. Oh, I already read that. Oh, shit. That was it. So, man, this devil got a lot to answer for. He has a lot to answer for, man. Cause like I said, I never knew that was something, man. But it goes again to that whole disconnection. And I think about it, my mother, she used to have flowers and big ass flower beds and shit, tomatoes. My old man used to grow tomatoes. We used to have, in our front yard, in the side yards, man, like plum trees, man. Had some peach trees in the back. So, my parents still had a sense of that tradition, man. My auntie had apple trees and shit, But we have been so mindful and manipulated that now society is dependent on the devil, man. But call halal Yahabashim Yahushua, that the Lord has brought his men, Aparatazar, where those men, his elect, back into remembrance. And we know why we in this situation. And we know what we have to do, man. We have to do the work, lean and depend on Yahabashim Yahushua, have faith, and let the Lord do his thing, man. And we just keep pushing, man, and fighting that the Lord found us worthy to be part of his elect. That first fruit, man. And righteousness is going to be restored, and everything that we have lost, we're going to receive again tenfold, man, in abundance. And we striving and fighting to be a part of that number, man. That 144,000, 12,000 men from each tribe of the nation of Israel, starting with you so-called Negroes down to you so-called Hispanics. So, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom.